Hi, Dr. Joe. We're
Hi.
here at the University of Florida, and it's so exciting to sit down with you because, in your mind, in your research, in the work that you've been doing over your career, you are focusing on what I think are some of the absolute most important topics for us, especially as women. So, I wanted to start by asking you, how would you define body composition?
So first of all, thank you for inviting me. So body composition is actually the whole component of inside your body. So bone, muscle, body water, and body fat. Yeah, we call them as body composition.
Mhm. And when you think about body composition, what do we need to be thinking about as it relates to body composition?
So it's not that common to focus on recently, but obesity is always about excessive body weight and we have more fat. We need to lose our fat all the time. But actually, body composition shift our paradigm to focus on body fat because that's actually the risk factor of all obesity related chronic diseases. So, the body fat or muscle mass that we really need for our life should be focused on by all of people.
Do you find that the focus on body composition, the numbers that we have, let's say in our early 20s, or we have a group of interns
Yeah.
here that are helping us, and maybe we can show them, Sam, but are at their age, their body composition numbers, should those stay the same like all the way up into my age until we get older? We should always try to keep the same numbers?
Yes. So, in terms of body fat mass, there is no universal cut point, but it's not age adjusted. It's just
Right.
sex specific difference between, women has more fat
Right.
than men. So we just have sex specific fat mass. However, it doesn't really specify age difference.
Right. That's really interesting. So, personally, and I know for a lot of people that are watching right now, we may have spent much of our life thinking about the weight on the scale. So, in my early 20s and throughout most of my life, my weight would be like, let's say, 125 pounds. Pretty standard average number. And I didn't really think about that changing. And then as my hormones changed, as my lifestyle changed, as I became more sedentary, my weight started to creep up. And a couple of years ago, when I first started keto, and I was using a different source of fuel, I was using my own body fat as energy. I went back into that same weight that I maintained in my early 20s. But what I didn't realize, because I wasn't focused on body composition, was the rate at which my muscle mass had begun to deteriorate.
Yes.
And the way in which my body fat had transformed. So can you just speak a little bit about what the numbers should be for body composition, what the range is for most of us as women, and also what it should be for men, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, there's no like standard cut point for body fat mass, but widely used 25% of body fat percentage for men and then 35% of women body fat mass are reasonable to say like cut point. If you have more than 35% as a woman, we say you are obese because you have excessive body fat, and then actually more than 35% that actually cause any type of obesity related chronic diseases
Such as?
such as diabetes, hypertension, hyperlipidemia, like metabolism syndrome, stuff like that.
So for a woman to have less than 35, if we're thinking about what is like the bio-optimized, like how are we the most optimized biologically as a non-athlete?
That's actually a good
Yeah.
point because most athletes have higher muscle mass and lower body fat percentage. So unfortunately, we don't have a specific number for muscle mass as well, but we do not want like really lower body fat as well, because body fat is still energy source or
Right.
for your body and metabolism. So we want there is a healthy range between 20 to 35 for women to keep healthy and then looking good and with relatively good amount of muscle.
Right. And then for a female athlete, they'll go as low as what, 14 or
Yeah, almost around 10%.
yeah.
And then men around 7 to 10,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really low.
And then what is the average for men? What should that be?
25% for normal
25%.
men.
So have you done research on, I know there's new research that's come out recently on athletes needing to have even a little bit more body fat, and this research around body composition is also quite new, right?
Yes. It's it came out actually 1998. It started from actually NFL players because they look obese and overweight, but they have such a huge power. And then we cannot say, oh, they're not healthy
Right.
because they look obese, but they are actually healthy. And then a couple of articles actually show that the mortality rate for these NFL players are way lower than the normal guys
Oh, wow.
who are the same age. But once they retire their professional league, their mortality rate like spike up like 5 times higher than the normal people. So how would you explain this situation?
How would you?
So once they do have regular exercise, even though they have overweight, and they have more muscle, well, muscle weighs more
Right.
than fat. So if they have healthy body composition with regular exercise, that would actually prevent chronic diseases and then having a longer life expectancy.
So when they go to a more regular exercise plan, that muscle starts to deteriorate.
Well, they start to deteriorate, but we prevent a huge amount of loss of muscle, like all of a sudden, because they have a huge intensive exercise during the season. But once they retire, they stop that amount of exercise. But they still need to fill up the energy and then the energy expenditure like before. So that would prevent decrease of loss of muscle and then prevent a huge increase of body fat.
So when you say fill up the energy expenditure, meaning exercise, eating, like how do you look at that?
So as an athlete standpoint, there is a program I've heard from my friends who is an athlete. They have a special meal plan to stop losing their muscle and also stop increasing their fat. So it combines a lot of protein in their meals. They also have exercise plan as well. So you have to go to the gym like 3 times a week, or you have lift this amount of weight to keep your muscles and then stop preventing increased body fat.
Yeah. So as someone who's in my mid 40s now, I focus almost entirely around building and then maintaining that muscle, right?
Yes.
Because otherwise, if we're going through the natural aging process,
Exactly.
what I need now to
Muscle.
maintain, it's all about muscle.
Yes, exactly. So after mid 40, especially for women, women are likely to experience hormone change,
Correct.
and then they also have experience of a lot of bone loss, like
Right.
bone mass loss. So they're prone to have arthritis as well, or osteoporosis. Then we can't actually stop losing our bone mass,
Right.
because even though I have calcium supplement every day, I have vitamin D supplement every day, it doesn't really help to prevent bone mass loss.
Right.
Then how would you
Yes.
maintain your body composition and a healthy life?
Yeah.
That should be muscle. So there's a bone and then muscle around the bone. So even though you have a weak bone, but muscle can support your bone, then you are having a really healthy mobility, and then you have a really how can I say, it's very healthy posture,
Right.
and then mobility, walking, gait.
And so for you, when
Mhm.
you think about maintaining and building that muscle around the bone, muscle starts to deteriorate.
Yes.
At what age do you see that deterioration?
So we see, I mean, most researchers said after 50. So it's not that old. 50 is
After how old?
50,
50?
50.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they start to lose their muscle after 50-year-old,
Yeah.
especially women experience a huge loss of muscle after
Mhm.
50 because of hormone change.
Mm.
So we highly recommend to have more protein after 50 and then do actually resistance training after 50 that might help to build up more muscle.
It's interesting that you say that. I've read quite a bit of research
Mhm.
on the need for, almost doubling your protein intake after the age of 50.
Mhm.
Once you go into that, like maybe the end of perimenopause and into menopause, needing to double the protein intake, and it relates to the breakdown of the muscle during that time period.
Correct,
Mhm.
correct. Because metabolism changes with aging as well.
Yeah.
And then older people has really slow metabolism speed.
Yep.
And then double count of protein definitely helps to build more muscle.
It's really interesting. And then for people like me who are on keto, understanding the right protein to fat ratio is also something that we think about all the time. But certainly when you talk about the bone density loss, what age does that start to break down?
So it could be, I can say it could be after 40, but biologically it
Yeah.
starts from 30.
Yeah, it's interesting because I had my bone density tested when I was in my 20s, and I had already begun to lose some of its density, and I was really surprised and really shocked.
Yes, actually, bone density is completed until 20s and then start losing after 20s. Like, it's very natural
Yes.
process. So no one can actually prevent bone density loss,
Mhm.
but we can actually prevent by building up more muscle.
And supporting those bones
Correct.
with the right muscles, the posture,
Mm-hmm.
the mobility.
And then core muscle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What types of exercises do you like to do?
So I usually like sports, not like
Mhm.
jogging or running
Yeah.
around, but I recently do Pilates
Yes, for the
like,
core.
for core muscle, and also we all have a sedentary lifestyle and sitting in front of monitor all day long. So I definitely feel I have weakened muscle recently. So I've been doing Pilates for 2 years already, and I love it. And also, sometimes I do lift some weights.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. As it relates to body composition, so that number is not age specific. We want to keep it the same. How do we know what our personal optimal body comp should be? Are there ways that we can test? How would we look to find that?
So that's a very important question. So unfortunately, MRI is the gold standard measurement for measuring this whole body composition, but it's too expensive.
Right.
And then insurance company never reimburse the MRI used for the screening. CT scan or we say bioelectronically impedance analysis (BIA) also can measure whole body compositions. They're validated, but it's not user friendly at home. You can see a doctor and you can request to a doctor and then get screening through those one of techniques. But recently there are a couple of home scale with the digital scales.
Yes.
They show body composition like body water, muscle, and body fats.
Yes.
It's still not validated.
Correct.
So that's kind of sad. But I believe they have more advanced technology in near future, and then we can measure like whole this body composition at home.
I have one of those scales,
Mm-hmm.
and what I like about it is it definitely is directional, right? So you get on the scale, you're not just looking at your weight.
Correct.
You're staying on it for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and it's giving you a lot of different information. Yeah.
Yes.
Aspects of your body comp.
So BMI is easy I guess is the most widely used measurement for obesity. You just stand up at the scale, and the doctor said, "Oh, you're obese. You have to lose your weight." So still, I believe body weight includes body fat as well. So it's a still good proxy of whole obesity concept, but there is also a caveat. Yeah, like athletes, soldiers, like civil workforces, they have more muscle, they weigh more. Then how could we say they're unhealthy?
Right. Yeah, it's a very interesting time as you do the research on body composition. I think about body comp every day, and I love that it enables me to understand my health more. It enables me to become healthier. I'm focusing more on being strong and maintaining and building that powerful muscle that then can support the rest of the body functions. When your BMI, or excuse me, when your body composition is optimal, what are the benefits that we should expect?
So first of all, you can have lower risk of all chronic diseases in your future, and you also have very advanced mobility as well. And it's actually it can influence your mood and depression stuff because you still have powerful muscle and lower body fat, so you feel confidence of your whole body and healthy lifestyle. So that might be I don't know,
That's
this
great.
is my
Yeah.
answer, but
No, excellent. No, it's very interesting. I get those. I have that feeling. You know, when you're strong in your body, it definitely influences overall the way you feel about life.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Joe, you're teaching us all about the power of body comp, which means that we should all stop focusing just on our weight and learn about all of the aspects of our composition of our body and get strong, get the right amount of protein, allow it to benefit our health for a very long period of time.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.